Welcome, welcome. I wanted to give you a look at how far I've come on the challenge I've been running here at Inky Chic on this very large slow stitch project, this book that I'm making. And sometimes we challenge ourselves to do things and they're just we get overwhelmed with it. They're just way more than we think we can do. And so the key to slowing down your slow stitching so that it can be done, I'm going to explain as we go through this video. But really, stay with me here because we're going to look at some things that you might think I can't do this, but you can. It's a matter of the mindset you start with and giving yourself the time. Now, in this challenge, I made it a year-long challenge. For me, I realistically set that goal because I knew with everything else going on in my life that it would take me a year to probably make this book. If I had set it for 6 months, I would have given up in 3 probably because I would have nowhere been near halfway through. But because I've given it a year and now I'm halfway through the year, I'm halfway through my book. I'm running on schedule. And so that was very smart. So if you want to slow down your slow stitching so that you can get it done, you need to set realistic time limits and give yourself time to do your projects slowly. You want to be able to do them in a relaxed mode. You want to be able to pick them up when you're in the mood, not force yourself to work on them. These are the things that make slow living and slow stitching so much fun and so relaxing. You cannot think, you cannot meditate, you cannot just enjoy if you're pushing yourself through every project that you start. But that being said, let me show you so far the signatures. I have completed 5 large signatures. That's what I'm going to stop with. I'm going to do, I believe, 2 small signatures to go in between the big ones. You can see that the size of this book is already huge. And that's okay because I want it to be huge. Remember, in the challenge videos, I talk about a coffee table size slow stitch book, and that's what this is for display out in your home decor. Okay, let's look a little bit. This first signature has my bird on the back. Isn't she cute? And she's put on a scrap collage piece. That's all this is. It's a scrap collage, but isn't it beautiful? Beautiful. Okay, let's open this up and see what we can see. Now, none of this is sewed in, so it's not going to lay exactly right, but it's going to give you an idea of what the book will look like. If the signatures were actually sewn in, they would be, in here like this. This one, I still have a pin over here, which means I think I just need to get it out of there. Okay. All right. So this one was my boho patchwork, which I absolutely love. Isn't that gorgeous? It's put in here. It's got some old vintage laces on here. Just old gauzy fabrics. Okay, everything is done hand-stitched. The front of this one was one of my florals that I did. Again, everything hand-stitched. Isn't that different? One of my landscapes with just different fabrics and some different hand stitching all around in that. Okay. Then we have the front of this one, which is really a kaleidoscope of color. It's just really beautiful, colorful. This is a panorama, and it will go into the center because it's meant to open up as one panorama view across. Okay, little pocket here on this one. Landscape. Another floral. I believe that one is just beautiful. And I love the dark background for this one. Very scrappy. This one now, I started with a motif that I cut off of a piece of fabric. And I added to it with this gauzy fabric back here and all the embellishments. Okay. This was kind of a boho patchwork type thing. I took some fabric, I tore holes in it, and then I put in something to fill in those holes to patch it up to make it pretty. Can you imagine doing that? I can imagine some of the very poor women who had nothing to work with, and things would tear, and they would take the time to patch them up, but they would take the time to do what they could to make it decorative and pretty. And so that was my attempt at doing that. This one is the most recent one. I did a video on this snippet roll that was done with buttons, and I decided instead of to keep going on that, to put it on a page in my book and keep it because it was special and I really liked it. This was one where I collaged with paper, and then I photographed that, and then I printed it on fabric, and I came out with this little window view after collaging, and then I did my own stitching in that. Another one of my florals done and put on. You see, I've incorporated tons of just pieces of fabric, little bits of lace here and there, whatever I had. The outside of these pages are all just overcast, whip stitched. There's no blanket stitching on here, just whip stitching or overcasting. This was like a mosaic, fitting these pieces onto a black background, the black simulating the grout, and just putting them on there randomly, and then I added this fringe piece at the top. This was a couple of more of little landscapes that I did, different ones, put it on a floral background, added some vintage lace up in here, just very simple. This was just a page done in collaging different fabric elements. This was another fabric paper collage that I did and photographed and printed it on fabric, and then came in and did my own stitching, put it on its own page. The same thing, I printed this off of a graphic that I bought, this little window scene. Then I put the curtains around it, put it on this beautiful blue periwinkle purple silky kind of a satiny finish here. Just added some couching threads down in here. And then this one was my one that I did that was Impressionist art, and then I added the pearls and the beads and things to it to glitz it up, okay? And then that brings us back to the back of my book. Now, all these will be put in as separate signatures, meaning that this is not the cover of my book. So each of these will be put in as a signature in its own self. So there she is right now. She's halfway done in the sense that I'm going to do a couple of smaller signatures. Then I'm going to be working on the cover. And I have decided to use, let's see if I have it up here. Well, I don't see it right now. But, I thought it was there. It's not. I lost it. um, I have to get, I'll probably be using cardboard and reinforcing that to make a hard type of a hardcover for this, because it's getting weighty already. So what do you think? I'm halfway through. I am ecstatic on what I've gotten done so far. I love every bit of it. But again, none of this was doable for me if I had not set a long enough time span to slow myself down, to work on this off and on when I was in the mood. This is a very artsy project. Lots of fabric art going on here. You can't do that on demand. At least I can't. I have to be in the mood. I have to be inspired. I have to have a glow going and knowing what I want to do with each of these pages. So it takes time. So slow your slow stitching down, especially your huge projects. Slow them down. You might have put 6 months on this project and could have done it. I couldn't. You might have to put 2 years on this project instead of 1. Whatever it takes to slow it down, to keep it enjoyable, to keep it mindful, to keep it with no stress involved at all. You'd be surprised what you can create if you slow it down. Okay, the next video I'll make on this will be when I get the smaller signatures made right before I start the cover for it. So I didn't, show the process on all of this. I did show some of this sewing. If you go back to my playlist for this supersized, coffee table sized stitch challenge, then you'll find that playlist has some of the stitching that I did. I photographed some on different ones and talking how I put them together and what I used and what my thought process was. And so if you would love to make a large coffee table size stitch book for yourself, it's doable. Just slow it down, give yourself time, and start. 1 page at a time, 1 element at a time. You could see that some of these pages have their own element just set on the page, okay? And because of that, you can make the elements as you go along, put them on a shelf, and when you get ready to decide what size your total signature page is going to be, then you could decide how you want to make back those pages and how you want to set those pieces on those pages, okay? I make 1 side at a time, then I make the other side, and then I put them together and whip stitch them. In this case, I added lace, some trim around, sew it down, whatever it takes to sew the 2 sides together, okay? And that will complete 1 signature for me, okay? It's got a lot of variety and a lot of my pieces in it, which is a great way to save them. And it will be a wonderful attraction on a side table, coffee table. Your guests, when they come over, will love flipping through your book to see what you've been up to. Okay, till next time, let's stay scrap happy.